Alrighty, here we are back in the video game corner. We were here earlier, but now we're going to talk about the top 10 horror video games of all time. Kind of. The list is not actually in a particular order. I do have favorites out of this list, but I don't consider any of them particularly more deserving of the spot on the list than the others. So don't take it too seriously. It's just numbers.
Number 10.
Oh my god, we're just powering through this recording, so let's just do this. Alright, number 10, we have Until Dawn. Alright, now there was a whole spate of like cinematic horror games, and Until Dawn is definitely the best one. It most captures the vibe of the type of movie it's being, where it's, dumb teenagers out in a cabin, and they're really accurate to the types of teenagers you would see in these scenarios. They get up to some sexy shenanigans, and the gameplay is almost entirely just kind of walking around, look at stuff, survive some quick time events, and man, it just nails it. This just got remade, so I hope that's good. I've only played it on the PS4, where I did not save everybody, but I did save the hardest one to save, weirdly enough. Alright, number 9, bit of a curveball, but I wanted representation for sort of first-person indie horror, so we're going with the Mortuary Assistant. I was really into this. It's a combination of sort of like the first-person, spook-em-up monster jumps out at you type of game that was great for streaming, but it also combines it with sort of what's the phrase? A dad game, where you just kind of fiddle and do a task with little motion controls of the mouse. And having to actually mortuarize a corpse. Yes, that's the word. Having to actually mortuarize a corpse while demons are trying to get you, and you have to solve a puzzle regarding the demons. Super engaging. I get so wrapped up in taking care of the bodies that every jump scare goddamn gets me. Had a great time with this one. Number 8, Little Nightmares. Of the ones of this type of horror game, I'm mostly going by types of horror games for this list, where it's sort of a linear platformer that is spooky, inside, limbo. I think Little Nightmares is the best. The world is just more interesting to explore. There's a little bit more character in the little, raincoat girl. And Jesus Christ, the monster designs are so freaky. Just the long-armed guy, and the big chef, and the spooky lady. Oh, it's really effective, and it ends really strongly in comparison to other entries in this type of horror game. Excellent. I can't wait to play the sequel. Alright, number 7, The Sinking City. I got this from my boyfriend, who doesn't even particularly like horror games, and they had a great time with it, and then when I got around to playing it, oh, it's so good. It is more of a detective game with monsters than it is a straight horror game, but it leans into Lovecraftian horror, which has a bit of a spotty reputation in games. I personally think this one nails it, and I like having a big open city to solve puzzles in. I don't know, this one's really fun. Alright, number 6, I was going for the sort of meta story subversion game. Really hard to pick a name for this genre, but it's Slay the Princess. Yeah, in kind of the spirit of Doki Doki Literature Club and some other types of games in this genre. The story as presented through visual novels is maybe more complicated than you initially thought, and yeah, the artwork really does get to me. I definitely wouldn't play it again though, so maybe some other people would get replay value out of it, but this one is excellently written, excellently voice acted, and engaging with some really cool ideas. Number 5, we're starting to get into the big boys now, Silent Hill 3. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it to one game per franchise. If I didn't, most of this list would be Silent Hill games. But I went with 3 over 2 or 4 or 1 or downpour because Silent Hill 3 gets a little overlooked in the original quadrilogy. It's not the first one, it's not the second one that everyone loves, and it's not even the fourth one, which is weird. It's just the third one. It's good. It's just a Silent Hill game, except that's still amazing. Cheryl, the story for her is so good. The music is fantastic. The animations, I am still blown away by how good some of the facial animation looks for the PS2 game. I don't have it here. I have it stolen on my PC because it's very expensive. I recommend playing it that way. Number 4, Resident Evil's turn to shine, and there are so many good games to pick for this category, but I decided to go with Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's the one that most captures the breadth of the franchise. The survival horror, tracking every bullet, moving through sharp corridors of the early games, and the sort of punky action nonsense of the Resident Evil 4s. The main thing you're missing out on is the first-person fun times of 7 and 8, but you gotta pick one, and Resident Evil 2 is a hell of a damn good... It's a hell of a damn good game, and I've played it twice. I don't do that very much. Number 3, a bit of an odd choice for the horror list, but Hellblade Sacrifice. Mechanically, it looks like a spectacle fighter. In practice, it's kind of a walking simulator, but it's still utterly horrific. The journey through Senua's tortured mindscape and her dealing with her psychosis that she doesn't even have a name for other than the darkness. Oh god, it's so good. It's the reason I got an Xbox for this generation, because I wanted to play Hellblade 2. That's also good, but Hellblade 1 is better as a horror game and just more accessible, more platforms, you know? So play that one. Number 2, Amnesia. Which one though? I'm gonna recommend Rebirth. People kind of skipped over this one because The Bunker came out and people really liked that. But Amnesia Rebirth is really good. It kind of got unfairly maligned as just a retread of the first Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and nah, I don't agree. I think it's much more character focused. The animations are a lot better. Like, goodness gracious, I cannot explain to you the gender feelings I got playing as a pregnant woman where I can look down and actually see the belly. Woo! That fucked me up. And I like that you get a little bit more understanding of the Lovecraftian scope of this one. The other one was mostly, it's a castle getting fucked up. But this one you travel between the Lovecraftian dimension and the desert you're trapped in. And I find that much more narratively engaging. It honestly kind of reminded me of Call of the Sea, if you've ever played that one. But that one's not really a horror game. Nothing's going to kill you there. And this one, you're not going to get killed often, but it can happen. And also, I had to do some pretty fucked up shit to get to the end of this game. Number 1, alright, this is the big one. This is the one everyone should play, Signalis. Go play Signalis. It's all the best things about classic Resident Evil and classic Silent Hill in an indie top-down package with lesbian robots. Like, I can't even describe the list of influences this game has. Just off the top of my head, it's Silent Hill, Resident Evil, but also Blame and Nier Automata. It's so good. Ghost in the Shell. Can't forget that one. I adored this game. It's an excellent survival horror game where you have to actually track your ammo and stuff. You gotta solve puzzles, you gotta fight monsters that actually really force you to engage with the way you route around the maps. And the story is so heartbreaking. I crave a happy ending for those characters. Oh my god, the lesbian feels are off the charts. Play Signalis, it is so good. Come here, Muffin. Hello, Muffin. Hey, girl. You know, they could probably hear you scratching at the box in the back of some of this video, you silly gooser. That's all I got. I have been recording for over an hour, and this makeup is hot. I know I look great in this dress. In fact, whee! But I wish you all a lovely Halloween. Bye!